Skinner versus Chomsky. We're going to start with Skinner. He was the one that came up with the theory of behaviorism. Now, the key points of behaviorism is that it was based on psychological notations. It's a product of repetitive reinforcement and anticipated responses. It had extensive drill and practice of language. Three aspects of it was audiolinguism, direct teach and mastery, and then total physical response. To summarize, it was association, intimidation, and reinforcement. With Chomsky, he came up with the universal grammar. Okay, that was his theory. All languages are comparable in basic structure. The mind contains active language processor that generates rules through unconscious acquisition of grammar. So it's a process of free creation. Now, as we look at these two, I chose these two pictures because Skinner, with what he came up with is that if we sit there and we teach line upon line, we teach our sounds, our words, our sentences, our grammar, everything will fall into place as we teach step by step with the extensive drill and repetition. Like it was basically that we would practice, and if we were reinforced positively, we would want to do that again. Okay, so he was saying that this is something that we acquired, that something that, was based off of what we learned, what was around us, what we saw. Okay, Chomsky was more saying we have something that's built inside us. We have something that's built inside our brain that wants to already help us with language. When we are young, when we are babies, we already want and desire to have this language. It's not something that needs to be taught. It's something that's already established in us. And so he's saying, if we were to have a second language, acquire a second language, that it should be something that should come naturally to us, because the languages are all universal in some basic structure. So we can go from one language to the next because we have already acquired the first language. So two totally different theories. One believing that it's something that is taught and acquired through process. The other one saying, no, this is naturally in us. This is something that we naturally have, something that we naturally want. Why is it important to learn about these studies? One of the things that I saw very beneficial, and it's fun to compare, is that a lot of the things that these theories, these early theories talk about, we still see in our classrooms today. If we don't learn from the past, history repeats itself, in my mind. So as we learn from the past, we're seeing things that that people were able to pick up on, in my eyes, when life was more simple and basic. Okay, they were looking at the basic knowledge of a human being, whereas today we like to throw all these other aspects into it. We like to throw in the medications, we like to throw in the social media or being on the computer. We throw in all these elements and all these factors of the busy lives that we have nowadays. And so sometimes it's refreshing to go back and look at these theories that were based at a different time when things were more simplistic and they were just looking at the human body for the most part. Okay, yes, we still do studies on just the human body. Yes, we still do studies on just like language, acquisitions and different things like that. But nowadays we have a lot more in our world to help us to achieve fluency in a second language than they did back then, in my eyes. So yeah, that's why it's interesting to look at these basic theories from back in the day that that mean so much, that are a huge base for us to work with and work on.